So I wanted to do a little update on my Jinhao 10, which I've been using for a couple of months now, and I wanted to give a little review of how it's going and any little niggles or gripes or anything that I have with it. First of all, it's a nice solid pen, metal body. The threads are metal in the cap and on the body, nice and solid. It takes a cartridge that comes empty and it's refillable, and it looks like sorry, I got a cough. It looks like this. I do need to wash that. That was the spare one. And it's holding up really well. I normally just chuck this in my bag, take it to work. I've got no problems with the little door inside that opens and closes to let the nib out. That seems to seal quite nicely. This pen, I can just chuck it in a drawer or in my bag, and even if I don't use it for a while, it still flows perfectly fine upon first use. The only thing I've noticed is I've got this strange line where the black coating is scratched off on the button. So there's something inside that scrapes on the button on this side, unless it's just if the button's slightly off and it's when you push it down it's catching. So I've got this like line where the black has come off. I have got like a tiniest of tiny little scrapes from where the black's come off as well on the body. That's probably from me dropping it, but the rest of the body is spot on. It's only really, oh, I've got one there, look, one little scratch just by my fingertip. I don't know if you can see it on camera. So I don't know how hard wearing this black coating is going to be, but the pen itself is nice and solid, and it's a nice wet writer. After I did a little, I'll tell you that in a bit. So this is a Jinhao 10, and this is a fine nib, but it writes like a medium nib. It's got really good ink flow, nice wet writer, nice and smooth, not scratchy at all. A lovely pen to write with. Now, when I did get this, I did have some skipping issues and ink flow issues. And it turned out the tines were too tight on this. So I did have to take my little brush shim and just go through a few times. And I put it in and like pulled this way and pulled that way. And I've just loosened the tines, because the problem with this one was the tines was too tight, which you can get with fountain pens occasionally. But it's an easy fix. It takes less than 5 minutes to fix. And I did have an issue with the converter with ink flow, but this has got the refillable cartridge in, and it's absolutely fine. Nice solid pen. Got a nice weight to your hand, but not being over the top. And survives quite well being just chucked in the bag, chucked in a pocket, clipped onto my lanyard at work. And yeah, bulletproof pen. It's like really nice and solid, and is always in my bag or in my pocket, unless I'm using my Majohn A1. I've been using that recently because I'm road testing that one. But my Jinhao 10 is like a nice solid go-to fountain pen, and I can leave that in my drawer for a few weeks and it writes first time like a biro. It's great. So yeah, I'm really impressed with this pen and really pleased with how it's going so far. And I'm going to keep using it, and then obviously I think what I'll do is I'll just obviously keep using it as I normally would, and then every so often, like every, I don't know, couple of months or so, I'll give an update on how it's wearing. I think this one was the one that was 27. If not, it's my Majohn A1. But this Jinhao 10 was a bit less actually. I'll put in the description box how much it was. It was under 20 quid. But yeah, nice solid pen. It feels like a lot more expensive pen. Nice and heavy, nice and solid, and yeah, great little bargain. So if you see a Jinhao 10, they're worth picking up. They are a bit of a dupe for the Pilot Vanishing Point. And I can't do a comparison because I'm not spending 177 to 200 and odd pounds on the ones I've seen on Amazon. That's ridiculous. That's way out of my price range. I tend to go for cheaper pens because it's more affordable and I have a budget to stick to. But I'm really pleased with this. I've got the retractability and the styling of a Pilot Vanishing Point, but without the cost. So I'm really pleased with this. And then this is the Majohn A1. I've got some glue or something on the button. This one I've been using for about a week because I only had it recently. So far the lacquered body is doing really well. There's no scratches or anything major on there. There's no scratching on the button for the retractable mechanism. And this one's in a fine nib, but it writes like a medium. And it's a really nice, classy looking pen. I did have a little bit of ink flow issues with this, but it was more a problem with the cartridge I was using than the actual pen itself. I like how this is, in fact, I don't know if this is a medium. Hold on, where's my A2s? I think this is an extra fine and this is a fine. The nib writes like a medium, even though it's a fine. And it's a really nice pen to write with, very comfortable. Got a nice weight in your hand. Nice solid metal body with this like laminate coating on the outside. Another nice bulletproof pen, which I'm quite happy to just chuck in my bag or clip to my lanyard at work. I have had, like I said, a little bit of ink flow issue, but I changed the, I took the converter out. Have I got the converter in this one? I took the converter or cartridge out. Which one I've got in at the minute? Oh, I've got the converter in at the minute. I had an issue with the cartridge. The only thing I'm getting with this one is it does occasionally have a bit of random ink floating around inside like this. So that's the main issue with this one. But other than that, there's no big problems. So I don't know why I'm having it with so much ink pooling around there. I'm wondering if this is leaking somewhere or something. But it's not coming out of the pen, if you know what I mean. So like my hands aren't getting dirty and my work is not getting dirty. I'm just finding when I take the unit out, or like disassemble it, I'm finding I get inky fingers. Whether something needs tightening or greasing or something, I'm not sure. But other than that, I'm having no other problems with this pen. It's got good ink flow, and it's nice and smooth to write with. This one's currently got diamine. Got a little diamine jet black in it. And it's a really nice ink. And I find sometimes it comes out a bit greyish. But I just think that's like an ink flow where like it's not a mega wet writer, this one. But it does still write quite nicely, but it's not as wet as the Jinhao 10. I might do a bit more work on the nib to separate the tines a bit and get a bit more ink flow. I'm not sure yet because I'm quite happy with this one as it is. So that's the Majohn A1 and that's the Jinhao 10. Two great pens, two nice looking retractable fountain pens with a good weight to them, good body to them. And they seem to be nice and hard wearing and they're fairly reasonably priced. Now this one cost me £27 from Amazon. To some that's like mega expensive, so obviously it depends on budget. Jinhao 10's a bit cheaper. This was like 19 quid I think. But I wanted to splurge and treat myself, so I bought a really nice pen. Like, for me, spending 27 quid on a pen, that I'm buying an expensive pen, to me. You know, I'm used to buying pens that cost like I've got my Helix Oxford, which is like £8. I've got the